NHL free agency is right around the corner, starting July 1st, 2025. This year's free agent class features some great names from veteran superstars to gritty playoff performers, and it was hard to narrow things down to just 15 players. But after some tough calls, here are my top unrestricted free agent picks for the 2025 season anyway. Let's dive in. Number 15, Pius Suter. Pius Suter had an excellent year with the Vancouver Canucks this season, putting up a career-high 25 goals and a career-high 46 points. He would be a great addition for any team looking for more depth down the center, including the Vancouver Canucks. If Suter does hit the open market, the Colorado Avalanche could be a great fit for the player, especially if Brock Nelson ends up signing elsewhere. The Columbus Blue Jackets could also use a player like Pius Suter, as they are lacking down the middle. The Boston Bruins, Philadelphia Flyers, Nashville Predators, and Montreal Canadiens are other teams that might be interested. Suter's next contract is likely to make him around $3 to $5 million a season for 4 years. Number 14, Riley Smith. In 79 games this year, 34-year-old Riley Smith put up 40 points and 13 goals. He also has plenty of playoff experience as a Stanley Cup champion with the Vegas Golden Knights. Smith will likely not fetch his previous salary of $5 million. This means a team could pick him up for a cheap price, making him a cost-effective signing. There's a good chance Smith stays with the Vegas Golden Knights. After being traded back to Vegas from the New York Rangers, Smith stated, "I felt like I was able to get my footing pretty quickly and feel good about my game again. And being able to come back here, wear this jersey again, and be supported by this community and this fan base has meant a ton to me and my family. Just a great experience for me." Smith even went as far as to say, "If there's an opportunity to stay here, that would be great." If Vegas does decide to move on from Smith, he could end up with teams like the Colorado Avalanche, Dallas Stars, or Florida Panthers, where he could contend for a Stanley Cup again. Smith is likely to earn between $3 million and $4 million for the 2025 to 2026 season. Number 13, Claude Giroux. Even though Claude Giroux is 37 years old, he has still shown he can produce, scoring 15 goals and getting 50 points in the 2024 to 2025 season on the Ottawa Senators, helping the team reach the Stanley Cup playoffs for the first time after 7 years. There is mutual interest in Claude Giroux returning to the Senators for at least another season, where his veteran presence and ties to the Ottawa area could be a good fit. If the Senators don't re-sign Giroux, he could always return to the Philadelphia Flyers, where he spent most of his career. The team needs more depth to make the playoffs, and Giroux could help with that. Some other young teams that could benefit from Giroux's veteran presence include the Montreal Canadiens, New Jersey Devils, Columbus Blue Jackets, Chicago Blackhawks, San Jose Sharks, and Los Angeles Kings. If Giroux is looking to chase a Stanley Cup, he could end up with a team like the Toronto Maple Leafs, Colorado Avalanche, or Dallas Stars. Giroux is expected to make between $3 to $4 million next season. Number 12, Brock Nelson. Brock Nelson is another solid centerman who could bolster a team's top 6. Nelson slid into the second center role in Colorado, producing 13 points in 19 games during the regular season. However, he failed to score a goal in the playoffs, making it less likely he will re-sign with the Avalanche. Nelson's agent has stated he would be interested in playing in Minnesota, where he was born, saying Brock would be interested in playing at home and he could envision a fit. However, Minnesota already has some solid centers in Joel Eriksson Ek, Marco Rossi, Frederick Gaudreau, and Ryan Hartman. Like with Pius Suter, the Columbus Blue Jackets, Boston Bruins, Philadelphia Flyers, and Montreal Canadiens could be a fit for Nelson as they need more center depth. The Toronto Maple Leafs could also be a contender for Nelson, especially if they move on from John Tavares. Finally, the Washington Capitals could be a destination for Nelson, as they reportedly contacted the Islanders about Nelson's availability before his trade. Nelson is likely to make around $6 million to $7 million, a cap hit similar to his previous deal for 2 to 3 years in length. Number 11, Brock Boeser. Brock Boeser could be one of the most underrated free agents of 2025. The year before this one, he had 40 goals and 73 points in 81 games, making him an elite player. However, this year he had a reduction in offense, scoring 25 goals and getting 50 points. Boeser has stated that he does not expect to return to the Vancouver Canucks next season, stating, "It's unlikely at this point." The New York Rangers are expected to take a run at Besser and are willing to move players to make it work. Surrounding Besser with players like Artemi Panarin, Alexis Lafreniere, and Mika Zibanejad could reignite his offense. Signing with the Rangers would also give Besser the opportunity to reunite with his old teammate, JT Miller. The Minnesota Wild, Besser's hometown team, is also reportedly interested in signing the player if the price is very reasonable. The Utah Mammoth could be a good fit for Besser, where there is less media scrutiny than in Vancouver. Besser could play alongside Clayton Keller and Logan Cooley, bolstering the team's top six. The Boston Bruins, Carolina Hurricanes, Los Angeles Kings, and Anaheim Ducks could also sign Brock Besser to improve their top six. Besser is expected to land a deal between $7 to $8.5 million in annual value. He already rejected a deal of $8 million for 5 years, meaning he is likely looking for a contract with a longer term. Number 10, Patrick Kane. While Patrick Kane is getting older at 36, he has still shown he can produce, getting 18 goals and 49 points in 59 games for the Red Wings. There's a good chance that Patrick Kane signs with the Red Wings again. In his exit interview, Kane stated, "I think there's definitely some mutual interest in coming back and continuing on here." Kane also stated that a move from Detroit would be crushing for his son Patrick Kane III, who enjoys hanging out with Archie DeBrincat. If Kane wants to go for a Stanley Cup, he could sign with a team like the Florida Panthers, Toronto Maple Leafs, or New York Rangers, where he played briefly in 2023. Kane is likely to sign a short-term deal in the $4 to $5 million range. Number 9, Mikael Granlund. Mikael Granlund was one of the best players for the San Jose Sharks during the season, putting up nearly a point per game and scoring 15 goals for the team. After being traded to the Stars, Granlund did well with 21 points in 31 games during the regular season and 9 points in 15 games in the playoffs at the time this video was made. Due to Granlund's age of 33 years, teams will want to sign him to a shorter-term deal. It is very possible Mikael Granlund re-signs with the Dallas Stars, where he has been playing top-line minutes. The Montreal Canadiens could also sign Granlund to a short-term deal to play as their second-line center, if they believe Michael Hagge will be ready to step into that role in the near future. Peter Baugh of The Athletic has linked Mikael Granlund to the New York Rangers. However, the team would almost certainly need to move money to make room for him, and he wouldn't make the Rangers any younger. The Columbus Blue Jackets could also be a potential destination for Granlund, as they have cap space and could use a veteran top six player to bolster their young core. Granlund's next contract will likely be 2 to 3 years long and in the $4.5 to $5.5 million range. Number 8, Brad Marchand. Brad Marchand is nearing the end of his career at 37 years old, but he has still proven to be a solid, gritty playoff performer with 12 points and 46 penalty minutes in 14 games at the time of this video. He could prove very valuable for any team looking to add depth to their roster to go further in the playoffs. There's always the possibility that Marchand could remain in Florida with the Panthers. According to a source close to Marchand, staying in Florida is the player's top option. According to Elliot Friedman, the Los Angeles Kings reportedly tried to obtain Brad Marchand before he ended up with Florida. However, it appears Marchand wants to stay in the East to be closer to family. There's a chance Marchand could return to the Boston Bruins, where he played for most of his career. With $28 million in cap space, the Bruins can afford Marchand, but past contract disagreements make it less likely. NHL insider Elliot Friedman has speculated that the Toronto Maple Leafs could take a run at Brad Marchand this summer. Marchand has beaten the Toronto Maple Leafs in 5 straight Game 7s, so it would be quite the turn of events to see him playing for them. Maybe he could be the key to getting the Leafs over the playoff hump. Bleacher Report writer Lyle Richardson has named the Detroit Red Wings a surprise landing spot for Marchand if he hits the open market this summer. He could add to the team's scoring depth, which is lacking, and could bolster the team's toughness, which was also lacking this season. However, Marchand might not want to sign with the Red Wings if he wants to pursue a Stanley Cup before he retires. The Carolina Hurricanes could be another contender for Marchand, as he could fit with Rod Brind'Amour's two-way style and bring a physical presence that the team lacks. The New Jersey Devils could also use a player like Marchand to bring more offense to the left wing. Finally, the Montreal Canadiens might be a good fit for Marchand, as Montreal is only a short flight to Boston for family. Projections suggest Marchand could command a short-term deal, likely 1 to 3 years, for $5 to $7 million annually. Number 7. Aaron Ekblad. Aaron Ekblad is a top 2 defenseman who played 56 games for the Florida Panthers this season before a 20-game suspension for violating the NHL's performance-enhancing drug policy. Prior to his suspension, he recorded 3 goals and 30 assists for 33 points, averaging 0.59 points per game with a plus-minus of +12. Due to his suspension, Ekblad could be a steal in free agency, netting $7 to $8 million down from his expected $8 to $10 million. However, past injuries still make him a bit of a risky pick. It's possible Ekblad could re-sign with the Florida Panthers. However, they might not be inclined to retain him after acquiring another top-tier right-shot defenseman in Seth Jones. The Ottawa Senators are reportedly looking for a right-shot defenseman to bolster their blue line and are reportedly considering Aaron Ekblad to fill that role. Ekblad would bring Stanley Cup experience to the Senators' roster, which could benefit them in a future playoff run. The Columbus Blue Jackets may lose Ivan Provorov to free agency. If they do, Ekblad could be a solid replacement and would pair well alongside Zach Werenski. Some other options for Ekblad could include the San Jose Sharks, Boston Bruins, or Calgary Flames. Number 6. John Tavares. At 34 years old, John Tavares is still a top point getter for the Leafs. This season, he had 38 goals and 74 points in just 75 games. He was also one of the best faceoff takers in the league, ranking 5th highest amongst regular centers. Tavares wants to stay with the Toronto Maple Leafs. He told the media, "I have expressed my desire to stay and make it work. However, there is no guarantee that the Leafs and Tavares come to an agreement that works for both sides. If Tavares doesn't sign with the Leafs, he could sign with the Vancouver Canucks or Montreal Canadiens, both of whom could use a top-tier center. Tavares could also head to the Pittsburgh Penguins, where he has a connection with general manager Kyle Dubas. Other teams that might be interested in Tavares include the Anaheim Ducks, San Jose Sharks, Los Angeles Kings, Chicago Blackhawks, and Buffalo Sabres. Tavares is likely to sign for $7 to $8 million a year for 2 to 4 years. Number 5. Matt Duchene. 34-year-old Matt Duchene has been a key offensive player for the Stars this year, recording 30 goals and 82 points in 82 games, making him a point-per-game player. Duchene wants to win a cup, so he re-signed with the Dallas Stars this season. There's always the possibility Matt Duchene remains with the Stars to try and go for the cup. If Duchene hits the open market and the Toronto Maple Leafs move on from John Tavares, a player like Duchene could take his place. Other teams that could be interested include the New Jersey Devils, St. Louis Blues, Minnesota Wild, and Montreal Canadiens. Duchene is likely to sign for around $6 million for 1 to 2 years. Number 4. Ryan Donato. One underrated free agent this year could be Ryan Donato. At 29 years old, Ryan Donato has been a versatile forward for the Chicago Blackhawks, recording a career-high 31 goals and 62 points, as well as 41 penalty minutes. Donato has expressed a desire to stay in Chicago, stating, "I've voiced plenty of times how much I've loved being here and want to be a part of the future here." However, it seems increasingly likely that Donato will hit the free agent market to cash in on his stellar performance this season. Ryan Donato started his career with the Boston Bruins, and they might just try to bring him back to bolster their middle six. The New York Rangers could be looking for a boost to their middle six too, and Donato could give them just that. The Nashville Predators, Columbus Blue Jackets, and Winnipeg Jets could also benefit from a player like Donato. Donato is expected to make $4 to $5 million for 3 to 4 years. Number 3, Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett is one of the most attractive free agents this year. At 28 years old, Bennett has shown he can contribute offensively with 25 goals and 51 points during the regular season. Bennett is also a solid playoff performer, having won a Stanley Cup with the Florida Panthers last year and recording 13 points in 14 games in this year's playoffs at the time of this video. To top it all off, Bennett has a physical element to his game that general managers love. The Florida Panthers have expressed interest in re-signing Sam Bennett. This would make sense as they are his current team and he has had strong playoff success with them. The Colorado Avalanche could take a shot at Bennett if they lose Brock Nelson, as they will need a center to play behind Nathan MacKinnon. The Carolina Hurricanes are another team that could benefit from Bennett's play. Could he be the piece they need to propel them further into the playoffs? Sam Bennett has a history with the Toronto Maple Leafs, injuring both Matthew Knees and Anthony Stolarz in the playoffs. Despite this, he might be exactly what the Leafs need to get over their playoff woes. However, he has reportedly ruled out playing for a Canadian team. The New Jersey Devils might take a look at a player like Bennett to push them deeper into the playoffs and to bolster their middle six. Other teams that could consider Bennett include the Minnesota Wild, Los Angeles Kings, Boston Bruins, and Buffalo Sabres. Bennett is expected to make around $7.5 million annually for 7 years, according to The Athletic. However, some reports say Bennett could earn more than that. Teams have to be careful not to overpay for the player. Number 2, Nikolai Ehlers. Nikolai Ehlers is a 29-year-old winger for the Winnipeg Jets, known for his speed and ability to score points. This year, Ehlers put up a very solid 24 goals and 63 points in 69 games during the regular season. Due to his age and scoring ability, Ehlers is my number 2 free agent this year. The Winnipeg Jets remain hopeful they can sign Ehlers to a new contract. Jets general manager Kevin Cheveldayoff said about Ehlers, "When we get a chance to talk to him, we'll put our best foot forward with him to try to make our case to be a unique Jet-for-life type player, and we'll see where it all goes there." Jets captain Adam Lowry has also stated that everyone on the Jets team would like to see Ehlers back, saying, "We'd be extra happy if he decides that Winnipeg is where he wants to spend the next however many years." The Vancouver Canucks are looking for a top 6 winger to play alongside Elias Pettersson, and Ehlers could easily slide into that role. This would give Ehlers more ice time and an opportunity to produce at higher numbers than ever before. If the Toronto Maple Leafs move on from Mitch Marner, Ehlers could be an attractive option. His speed and playmaking ability could help fill the gap left by Marner. One interesting option for Ehlers could be the Utah Mammoth, where he could slide into a top-line role next to Clayton Keller. The Ottawa Senators could be another team interested in Ehlers. His speed would pair well with a player like Tim Stützle. Other teams that could be interested in Ehlers include the Montreal Canadiens, Columbus Blue Jackets, and San Jose Sharks. Ehlers is expected to make around $8 to $8.5 million a year for 6 years. Number 1, Mitchell Marner. It seems more likely than ever that Mitch Marner will test the free agent market. As NHL insider Chris Johnston said on his show, "It does appear to me that he's going to walk away in free agency." While Marner's playoff performance was criticized by some fans, the fact of the matter is that he had an excellent season, putting up over 100 points and 27 goals. For this reason, he is the top potential free agent of the summer. It is possible every club in the NHL could have some interest in signing Marner. But let's take a look at some of the best fits for him. There's always the possibility Mitch Marner could re-sign with the Toronto Maple Leafs. However, this seems unlikely as he reportedly turned down multiple lucrative extension offers throughout the season. According to Anthony DeMarco of Daily Faceoff, Mitch Marner is unlikely to sign with a Canadian team. That means it's likely he won't end up playing with former teammate Nazem Kadri on the Flames or Brady Tkachuk on the Senators. The Chicago Blackhawks are a strong contender to take a chance on Marner. The team needs to surround Connor Bedard with better players, and the Blackhawks have more than $30 million to spend this summer. The Los Angeles Kings have struggled in the playoffs, dropping 4 straight first-round series to the Edmonton Oilers. Could a top-tier player like Marner help push them further into the playoffs? Maybe. Plus, a life in Los Angeles, California could be attractive for Marner and his family. The Pittsburgh Penguins are another team that could be a fit for Marner. Kyle Dubas, the general manager of the Penguins, has a relationship with Mitch Marner from his time as GM of the Leafs. The Penguins also have the cap room available to make the signing with around $23 million. What better way to close out Sidney Crosby's career than to play him with Mitch Marner? The New York Islanders could be an interesting destination for Mitch Marner. They're already talking to Brendan Shanahan, former president of hockey operations for the Leafs, about a position with the team. The Islanders also have the NHL's first overall pick this year, so adding Marner could lead to 2 new top-end additions to the team for the 2025 to 2026 season. The Buffalo Sabres are a team in need of a playoff appearance, and Mitch Marner could help them get there. The Sabres have around $21 million available in cap space to sign Marner. The Detroit Red Wings are another team in need of a playoff berth and plenty of room and cap space to sign Marner. The Utah Mammoth could be an interesting option for Mitch Marner. The Mammoth have around $22 million in cap space and could use a superstar to draw in new fans. The Seattle Kraken could be another interesting landing spot for Marner. If the Kraken signed Marner, he would instantly become one of, if not the best players on the team. If Mitch Marner goes to the Boston Bruins, it would sting for Leafs fans, but it's another possibility. Rumor has it, the Bruins have significant interest in Marner who are looking to retool to get back into the playoffs. The Carolina Hurricanes already expressed interest in Mitch Marner when they tried to trade Mikko Rantanen for him a few months ago. Marner would fit in with the team's analytical approach. The team additionally has $30 million in cap space this offseason. However, Mitch Marner's history of playoff losses could deter the team from signing him. A long-shot team for Marner is the Colorado Avalanche. Mitch Marner has already won gold with Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar at the Four Nations face-off. But Colorado would have to rearrange their roster to make the deal happen, and they already let go of top-end right-winger Mikko Rantanen, so signing Mitch Marner to take his place might seem questionable. The Anaheim Ducks are another potential landing spot for Mitch Marner. They've already made changes, firing their head coach Greg Cronin and replacing him with Joel Quenneville. Could they be poised to make more changes? Watching Mitch Marner play with Trevor Zegras, Troy Terry, and Mason McTavish would be fun for sure. The Vegas Golden Knights could be yet another potential landing spot for Marner. The team has had a history of getting high-profile players in the past, like Jack Eichel and Alex Pietrangelo. However, Vegas would have to clear up some cap space to sign Marner, potentially by trading a player like William Karlsson. Even the Florida Panthers could take a shot at Mitch Marner, as they will have $19 million in cap space available. Marner has ties to Matthew Tkachuk, as they played junior hockey together. Now let's talk about how much Mitch Marner could get paid. Marner's contract with the Leafs netted him $10.9 million over 6 years, for a total of around $65 million. Marner is likely to earn around $13 million to $15 million per season over 7 to 8 years. This means his new contract could easily be over $100 million total. So that wraps up my top 15 list of unrestricted free agents for 2025. Some other notable names I left out include Ivan Provorov, Vladislav Gavrikov, Jamie Benn, Jonathan Drouin, Jack Roslovich, Ilya Samsonov, Brent Burns, Gustav Nyquist, Jake Allen, Dmitry Orlov, Kyle Palmieri, Dan Vladar, Ryan Lindgren, Brandon Tanev, Anthony Manta, Ryan Johansson, Jeff Petrie, Andrew Mangiapane, Andrei Kuzmenko, Yanni Gourde, Tanner Jeannot, Jeff Skinner, Alexander Georgiev, Tony DeAngelo, Victor Olofsson, Dante Fabro, Ryan Suter, and John Klingberg. Which free agent do you think your team should pick up? Let me know in the comments below. And if you made it all the way to the end of the video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you for watching.